Easy,
Love
Tiger.
The difference is now you'd be shouting. You'd be going, I've got a chocolate sauce.
I was just remembering, before my face grew into my lips, as you can see in that picture. And hi, Jules, she still does love chocolate. But I remember being in that cafe just being so embarrassed. But that was part of The Naked Chef. Like, we made a first show that never got broadcast that was just rubbish. And it was because I was trying to do it down the barrel like this, and I couldn't present down the barrel. So we threw the show away, redid the budget, and then I started looking off camera, so it was more documentary. Started talking to Pat Llewellyn, who's sadly no longer with us. Amazing woman, Fat Ladies, Hell's Kitchen and all that sort of business. But absolutely brilliant. And it became a bit more reportage and a bit more following and a bit more documentary.
Just remind us the story in the first place, though, how you got discovered. A bit of an accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an accident. I was supposed to be off that night, and
you at the River Cafe.
Yeah, me and Jules rarely had days off because we did different shifts and stuff. And the restaurant phoned up at the River Cafe and said, "Look, we've got a full house and someone's not turned up." And the crew were there, and then they put it out for the Christmas special. And I never knew, they'd been filming for 2 weeks, so I never thought I'd be necessarily on it or in it. And then it was in it, and then the phone started to ring. Bit of luck.
Yeah, but your career's just... You've had such an amazing life, though, haven't you? I mean, your career's gone huge, your books are huge, your programmes are huge.
Yeah, it's been a funny journey.
And then you've had great people, though. I always think that about you. Everyone I know that's associated with you, you've had good advice over the years. You know, you've seized the opportunity. You know, you've not been lucky. You've made it happen.
I've tried to really invest in people and opportunity, and I think... very early, because the first book, Naked Chef, went so nuts, as a little kid, I kind of couldn't quite... Do you know, now we live in a world where you're kind of defined by a like or a view, and actually, but a book sale is kind of quite a personal relationship, and I learned very quickly that my boss was the public. And I think that set me up for sort of essentially 15 years of doing the kind of work that I do in sort of campaigning, child health, particularly.
I asked you before the show, do you ever regret it? Because you do, I mean, you're doing some really positive things, but you get a lot of criticism as well, and the pressure on you is phenomenal.
Yeah. It's never been more than now, actually.
Do you regret it?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Because I think that life is always a balance, and we try and get that. And I think for the flack, I mean, I've never had more bullets than in the last sort of year.
Why?
Because now we're kind of getting into the matrix. I mean, even when we started Sugar Rush, which was, essentially I was working with Mr. Cameron on the childhood obesity strategy, and they were very anti the sugary drinks tax, which I was trying to say should be a tax for good. And of course, now it's actually law. That's up to £1 billion of new money into education for sports and breakfast clubs for kids.
So all the tax from the sugary drinks goes to schools?
All of it. This is what everyone keeps. Actually, it polled really well because people understand that we're not taking anything away, but we're making it a little bit harder to get that. We will see drop-off of consumption. We will see water and milk products go up. And then we'll see reformulation across the whole industry. It is kind of symbolic to we're watching behave. But also, 40 years ago, sugary sweetened drinks weren't a problem. And now they're hydration for many families. So, but that up to £1 billion. When have you ever heard in the press £1 billion of new money going into the school food system? So that's for sports and breakfast clubs for British kids, 190 days of the year, and it's a massive success. But when you get into the matrix like that, and now we're getting into junk food advertising, now you're starting to sort of get a little bit into the world. It makes life a lot more complicated. But my question to you is it okay that children are hunted on junk food advertising? Is it okay when we have the most unhealthy kids in Europe? So it's kind of... It's an interesting... I went past a bus stop the other day. They have digital signposts, screens. And, they're getting absolutely battered by junk food advertising. They're all in their school uniforms. And it's like, OK, that's strategic marketing. So I think it's... The paper... All I would say is the papers are absolutely trying to make it look what we're taking away. And my argument would be, normally it's what are you going to get? And I think that our kids deserve to be sort of protected, really.
But the parents is a tricky one as well, I always think. That you talk to the kids, and then I think that what we have as well is we have 3 generations of adults who've never been taught to cook. And
Exactly.
It's a massive problem.
Yeah. Well, you'll hear the papers talking about personal responsibility and parenting. Let the parents do it. But that's not based on a concept of being conscious.
Yeah.
Most of the wins and the battles and the stuff that we can do in campaigning are out of sight and out of mind. It's industrial, it's food industry, it's reformulation, it's about clarity, honesty, labelling, colour coding. It's about products or ingredients that should be banned because they're either carcinogenic or they look like they do harm to public health. You know, most of the stuff we're campaigning for is actually invisible.
So your new campaign is about the advertising, isn't it?
Yeah, add enough. And everyone's been very good. So if you want to do an add enough picture, hashtag it on Instagram. Insta.
So this is to try and stop people marketing fast food at the children. Is that right?
We feel that based on child health in Britain right now today, and the concept that if you even get into that political rhetoric about strong and stable in the future and our lovely little island being relevant in the globe, our kids have to be protected, and they have to flourish at school, and they have to go out as young adults as healthy as possible. So add enough is about, you know, whether it's screens, whether it's gaming, whether it's, you know, we have regulation to 6 o'clock on TV at the moment, and we're talking about stretching that to 9 o'clock because all the kids aren't before 6. All the kids are watching X Factor and Britain's Got Talent. If you watch a whole season, that's a whole film's worth of junk food advertising in a season. And we think that's unethical. So in this current climate, if we're all running around healthy, then of course we don't care. But we ain't and we do.
Can I just ask who we is?
The parents of Britain, I would say.
Yeah, but when you say we, have you got like a panel of you who does all this?
I have.
Or are you finding it on
my
your
business
own?
and my office
Right.
is we're completely under-resourced for what we do, but it is like a little newsroom. We do have a team of people that are having to try and be... Because what you have to understand is if you look at the ministers or CEOs of most businesses in the food industry, they are ships that pass in the night. They change nearly every 3 to 4 years. So actually, whether it's me or Hugh Fernley-Whittinstall or other activists or charities or NGOs, I'm the youngest, so I've been doing it for 15 years. There's people that have been doing this for child health and public health for 40, 50 years. So we're trying, and whether it's, you know, the Stroke Association or you know, Cancer UK, you know, everyone has the same belief and goals, which is to protect child health, to make them as, you know, have the most opportunity and flourish as possible.
OK, I could talk to you about this for quite a long time, but we've got to wrap. We'll speak about it a little bit later on. Thanks, Jamie.